In 1996, Scholastic began publishing Animorphs. Over the next 6 years, Katherine Applegate and her husband, Michael Grant, under the pseudonym K.A. Applegate, produced 54 main series books, several spin-offs, and inspired a TV series, graphic novels, and a cult following. We can't tell you where we live. We can't even tell you our last names. But we can tell you our thoughts and feelings on this series, book by book. I'm Miranda.
I'm Eddie.
And I'm Chris.
And we are the Anidorks. These may be kids' books, but we discuss dark themes and mature content. There may also be some explicit language. Listener discretion is advised.
Book 19! What's this book called?
Who's doing which sentence?
I'm doing 3.
I'm doing 2. You're doing 1.
All right,
Eddie has it written
one.
in the doc.
I got it in 1.
What is this book called? Book 19.
The Departure.
Departure.
She shuffles off this mortal coil.
Yes. Whoa. No spoilers. I haven't read it yet.
There's a death flag in the second fucking paragraph. Like,
Miranda, Jesus Christ, dude.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I haven't read the book.
Well,
it would
Chris,
be wild.
I hate to say it, but she's dead. She's dead.
Yeah.
She's
dead.
dead,
No.
Chris.
I'm not going to read any book in which Cassie dies.
She's dead and her ghost narrates.
That's
and for
true.
some
I'm not
reason,
going to... No.
Her ghost
You
can't
guys-
narrate her own
You
death.
guys...
Call that a ghostwriter.
Here's what I did.
This is
I
our
read
first
the-
ghostwriter, yeah.
Yeah.
I read the name. That's really fucking good callback. That's really fucking funny. I can't deny that was exceptional, and I have nothing to live up to it. And yet, I'm gonna keep going with
Keep
my
going.
bit. 'Cause here
Keep
we are.
going.
Okay.
Keep going.
Thank you, Eddie. But yeah, no. What I did was I read the second sentence of the back.
Oh.
And that's what I used to infer what the entire book was about.
Okay.
So I'll read that to you now. After the last mission, she realizes she's getting tired of missions. So she gets a summer job at an ice cream parlor. And that's like, yeah, that's what
where
I'm
you think this is
anticipating
going.
for the
Okay.
back half of the book. Yeah. But don't worry. I think from Eddie's descriptions and context clues based upon what you guys talk about, I should be able to give
You'll
some
wing
really
it.
meaningful. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can just hear people in the audience being pissed off, like, you picked this book
To not
to
read.
do this with, and
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I did.
Holy cow, did I love this book.
Oh my God.
I can't hold off any longer.
People said, they were like, you guys are going to really like book 19. And then they were like, oh, judging by what you said during Hork-Bajir Chronicles, you're going to really enjoy book 19. I was like, yeah. And then I read it and I was like, God, I'm so glad I read Hork-Bajir Chronicles before this. Oh my God, this is so fucking good. Oh my God.
And based upon what I read on my friend Quix's blog, like, who had read book 19, it was their favorite book as well.
Wow.
They just...
Whoa.
Yeah.
Unanimous? Sorry.
Unanimous.
Between
yeah. I didn't read
Miranda,
it. Chris didn't
and
read it.
Blogger
Quix.
Quix.
Yeah.
Yeah, blogger who you're just learning about, but I think used to write for bigsexynews.org.
Yes.
And but like, anyway, I Quix couldn't agree more. Loved this book, cried multiple times.
Yeah.
And
the tears.
it was,
I cried. Yes.
Yeah, the tears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
It was
I
my
didn't
book
cry,
is
but I
damp
thought about it.
stained with it's tear stained. It's damp stained. Do you know the old phrase?
Yeah, you thought
Cassie
about
is
it
the
because
Cassie is the reason for the teardrops on my paperback.
Whoa, you're the reason for the teardrops on my Jahar. It's the...
That's really weird when you think about the fact that it's named for his wife.
Yeah. But I couldn't think of a single other thing that rhymes.
Yeah,
in the
Allerin
end.
writes that for Zero.
Just any song about a car, we could just do a Jahar version.
Yeah.
A slightly
You've
worse
got a
song.
fast Jahar.
That's all I came up with.
I got to get to anywhere.
Baby, you can drive my Jahar.
Baby, you can drive my Jahar.
Get out of my dreams and into my Jahar.
Do you think Aaron would sing that song
Key change. Get out of my dreams.
to Visser 3, given that Visser 3 is going to drive it anyway, right?
Maybe. I don't know. I think he might sing it to... he seems pretty... he's got a lot of feelings about Zero.
True.
He doesn't talk about it too much.
I
But...
can be your Zero, baby.
There's another thing that made me cry when I was in 4th grade.
That song? Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
You were wrong to cry at that song.
That
okay.
and 5 for Fighting Superman.
What's the song? Eddie, can you like da 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 da? What's that song? Do you remember that song? It's like so down 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 down. Shit, I just
more
sat down
time.
at a piano. I sat down at a piano yesterday and started.
Wait, we
playing
have to
this
talk
song
about
out of
Book
nowhere.
19 because we
No,
love
we're
that.
going to. But I literally sat down and played this song and was like, I'm pretty sure this is Eddie's favorite song from when we were like in 4th grade. And I was like, I can't remember
Is
the
it
name.
Nelly Furtado?
Bubble by M2M?
Making my way back from Mars. 15 so da 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 da. Ba, ba, ba. Name it in the chat. not you two.
Those people who pay
anyone on the
$20 a month
Discord-
for the Patreon and get to listen to our episodes live.
Yeah, Google AI just says that returning from Mars is a complex undertaking requiring careful planning and
Making my way
execution.
Back from Mars. That's
That's 5 for Fighting.
Is that the
100
one you were
years.
talking
No.
about?
Oh, wait, yeah, here we go.
Years.
5 for Fighting 100
Okay.
Years music video. It got me. Yeah.
I sat down at a piano, could not remember a thing about the song, but the piano part
I
came
heard
into my
15
brain.
cows a pound. Is that what you said?
15 cows a pound. All right, let's start. Book
Okay.
19. We said this
3-sentence
would take
summary.
6
I'm
minutes.
up
3-sentence
first.
summary.
Yes,
You
3
are.
sentences.
Take it away.
Holy shit. Okay. Those
fuck
are
it
not
up.
2 sentences. Cassie quits the Animorphs and
Spoiler
gets
alert.
lost in the woods with a yerk-infested child with bright red hair. Period.
True.
They talk a lot about the possibility of killing one another, but instead form an unlikely alliance while hunted by a leopard. Period. Cassie outsmarts everyone by morphing without morphing. Period. And go shopping with Rachel. Period.
She didn't know that would work, but fair.
She seems like she thought it might.
She hoped
work.
maybe.
She hoped maybe.
Okay, let me see. I'm up 2 sentences.
You're up 2 sentences?
Yeah.
You like?
I'm in the black. 2 sentences.
You scored 2 sentences.
I don't gamble.
I didn't realize that's how it works.
Okay, so in typical Cassie fashion, Cassie is feeling too much all at once, and it is leading to her inability to feel things at all. Period. In a transformative journey through the woods with a yearked little girl, she finds making one friend can make all the difference. That's it.
All right.
Wow.
Well, I thought about this, and it's a pretty weak link,
It's just the beginning
but
of
I
your
think
sentence.
it's pretty funny. Yeah. No, it's not. Here we go. Sentence begins. Butch Cassie and the Aftran kid.
All right. That's fair. That's fair.
You're mad that you
away!
didn't think about it. You had 3 sentences, and you didn't
Each
think
sentence an
about.
attempt to say that.
You didn't think about the classic Paul Newman, Robert Redford film. You didn't think about how they jumped off that waterfall. Like, you didn't think about it.
They didn't jump off.
I've never seen that movie.
Oh, you're right. They didn't jump off.
And they
fell.
didn't end with a freeze
No, they
frame.
do. They do jump off, don't they?
Record
No, it's-
scratch. You're probably wondering how I got here.
Dude, if only that had been invented back in like classic movies. Like if you were watching like My Fair Lady, and it's like she's like learning how to pronounce an H, and it's like, it's like
And then she
you're
does
probably
the
wondering how I
entirety
ended
of
up here.
Just You Wait, Henry Higgins,
You're
like in a
probably
breakaway.
Henry
Yes,
Higgins.
exactly.
A
Just
musical
you wait.
reference I get. My Fair
But
Lady.
you also-
Sorry, but your
you're-
tears will be too
you're-
late.
You're singing it weird because you're saying the H's. You can't say the H's.
Ha! Ha!
Chapter 1, Ember!
All right. Cassie kicks off an all-time good opening chapter with the promise of a story that's more strange and beautiful than she believes can be put into words. She'll do the best she can, however, and when she can no longer tell her story, what the fuck does that mean, Cassie? Jake will take over, because Jake is famously good with words. Cassie narrates what seems to be a simple reconnaissance mission, infiltrating a meeting of the sharing to gather intel about new and existing human controllers. But then they hear one particular human controller being taken away for punishment by Visser 3. If they can save this controller from certain death, maybe they can turn her to their side. The Animorphs intervene in their combat morphs. The fight is going well. They're winning. Cassie attacks a Hork-Bajir, gets the upper hand. Her wolf senses pick up everything. She can smell the Hork-Bajir panic hormones. She can hear the Hork-Bajir hearts pounding. She sees an opening on the Hork-Bajir's vulnerable throat. She could kill him in an instant. Then, Jake calls off the mission. But it's too late to stop the wolf in Cassie. She strikes the Hork-Bajir's throat, killing him. The Animorphs leave victorious, but Cassie's had enough. She's quitting the Animorphs.
Whoa!
After such a sick-ass kill, Cassie?
Yeah.
Really?
I know.
Everyone's going for the throat this book.
It's true. It's a very
true.
throat-heavy book.
Yeah.
Very throat-heavy book.
It's a good throaty book.
And we've talked about killing with the mouth being the most visceral and sort of the way to kill someone. You get all the senses of it directly in your face. And she's really having that experience here. I was thrown directly into protect Cassie mode when she said when I can't tell my story, Jake will take over. I'm like, that's a death flag. I will be protecting Cassie.
Yeah. The book is called The Departure.
It is not a death flag, though. Here is why it is not.
Okay.
She is saying it. That is not a death flag. You can literally...
Ghosts can tell
true.
stories, Chris.
That's
we're
true.
not in the Ghostwriter books. You said it yourself.
I'm just saying that in ordinary circumstances it would be a death flag. You know what I mean? It's given bad vibes. It's given I need to go into Mama Bear mode.
I guess there's exactly one scenario.
And also this happens all the time in video games. You start recording an audio message just before you die, and she knows that Jake's gonna have to take over.
In fact, it's just like the castle.
Yeah. They're coming. I can hear them at the door. And then your pen slips off the page and they're like, oh my God.
He was dying. He wouldn't have taken the time to carve.
Why is she so certain, though, that that was a very maniacal laugh there, Ed?
Well, it's a maniacal thing to be discussing,
so,
Chris.
You're absolutely right.
It does imply this is being written completely after the fact. And she knows how it's going to end up.
What it implied to me was not that she was dead, but that there's part of the story that wasn't, and I haven't read the book. A, wasn't her story to tell, or B, the more likely thing, she was incapacitated.
True, that she didn't witness. Correct, yeah. That's true.
So she was frozen in carbonite or something like that.
Yeah, right,
that's true.
Because they weren't sure if she was going to renew her contract for next book.
Right. Well, they didn't know if they could get her back to do another pose.
For the David trilogy, they definitely recast Cassie for the David trilogy.
I can't believe that they named the trilogy after the artist who did the covers.
Right?
That's so fucking
kind of them. I think that's a cool move. I mean, who was it? Was it Yoshi was named after a lawyer who was really helpful to them?
Right. And that's why when we get to the David trilogy, we'll be doing the Benny trilogy, which is the name of the person who did our cover art.
Cassie DeYoshi of Animorphs? Can we go on record?
No, that's way too accurate.
Do you mean does she lay eggs and do people get on her back?
Well, people
has anyone laid an egg
shit.
yet? Have any Animorphs laid an egg yet?
No.
But also, people are always on her shit, like Yoshi. It's like Yoshi's obviously the most competent one.
That's true. It's not. Is it Kirby?
Kirby might lay an egg.
He doesn't lay any eggs. Unless he eats Yoshi, swallows Yoshi, and turns into Yoshi.
That was a bold gendering of Kirby just then. I mean, I know it's canonical,
I think it would be Kirby. Yes, Kirby's name comes from John Kirby, an American lawyer who defended Nintendo in a 1984 lawsuit against Universal Studios over Donkey Kong. Yes, it was Kirby.
Pause. Can we just, before we go on with this chapter, can we just say how good it is to see our children again?
Yes, I've missed them.
I miss them.
Yeah.
Jinx, you owe me a soda.
And I will also, Pinch Poke, you owe me a Coke.
Oh,
I also missed the sharing. Lots of the sharing.
Yeah,
here.
we haven't seen the sharing. Seems to be a bit of a downgrade. Last time we were at the sharing, there was barbecue. Now it's hot dogs. I don't know. Maybe it's October and baseball is starting. I don't know.
Maybe they're running out of money.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, there might be
mismanaging
some money
It's
problems. But they
Yeah.
also got beer for the adults here, so they may have blown their meat
Yeah.
budget on beer.
A little questionable.
Do you think Yerks like beer?
I think they like whatever the human they're inhabiting likes.
Yeah. Okay.
So like they
All
get
right.
the sensations that the human would get. So if the human taste buds like beer, when they sip a beer, they'll go, ah, yes.
Does the Yerk get drunk?
No.
Yes.
Ah.
Damn it.
I
didn't
think
realize
no.
that was
Also,
wrong.
can we discuss their menu here and also the symbolism happening here?
Okay.
The sharing at this bonfire, I think there's night volleyball happening, but it's not confirmed. They serve hot dogs, coleslaw, and pie. Was that what you would serve? I would serve ice cream.
I don't know. Ice cream, if it's sitting out, ice cream's going to melt. They're at the park. They don't necessarily have access to freezers and refrigerators.
Yeah, and do you know how much that costs? I mean, we already had to downgrade from barbecue.
But
that's
they
also
have a morning show DJ, a weird morning show DJ.
So we have
one
to
of those
talk about
plays
this.
too many
We have to talk
sound
about
effects. Like
Yeah. But we have to talk about this because
Wah, wah.
they
That's one of the
you have to
sounds.
wake up pretty early in the morning to get a radio host DJ like that. The early Yerk gets the DJ.
That's
is
true.
Like 100%.
I was about to start
true.
asking you, didn't our bus come at like 7:15? Didn't we have to get up super by 6:45? We'd heard it, but then I was like,
Which
no,
is
I see
enough
you were
time to
going
watch
somewhere with it.
Sailor Moon, but not Pokemon, I don't think.
True.
Yeah. You know what? I was always just asleep on the bus.
Yeah.
They just kind of
Pushed me onto the
asleep
bus. And
Cassie is doubting that all of the Yerks are evil. We get that here. She says
We do.
that that's what she believed before this book, I think.
yeah, she says, I guess you'd call them evil. I always did. And then she says, this is what I believed. The Yerks are evil, that the morphing power is all we have. And she also thinks that the Andalites are the opposite because they're fighting the Yerks, so they must be good, I guess.
But at this point in the book, she is straight up down to murder them right now. Like, she is really
She
not
doesn't
thinking
even
twice
think about it, though, is the
Right,
thing that she
yeah.
will, and she'll go on to talk about that a little bit. And she says here that it was maybe the wolf instinct kicking in, but
Which is what I always blame.
yeah, I always
Yeah.
blame it on the wolf instinct,
But at some point, we're going to have to hold you accountable.
You can take the girl out of the pack, but you can't take the pack out of the
try.
girl, you know what I mean?
Inside Eddie, there are 3 wolves.
Jake is always depressed after battle, we learn. Axe wipes his tail on the grass, which I think is pretty cool.
I think it's going to dull your tail.
grass?
It might not be good.
Yeah, because it's like water. It's like grass is full of water. It's
I
not
don't
a
know.
good
He's just
idea.
trying to clean it off. I get it. But
I would
do you think he has
imagine
a whetstone built into his hoof? Do you think his hoof
That's
is a
what
whetstone?
I was about to ask.
Oh my
Like, he just
God.
pulls the paw up and he's just like, and a shink, and a shink, and a shink. Yeah, exactly.
So you're saying that there's a chance one of these days he's going to try to cut off a hand and only get halfway through.
I'm just saying,
you do more damage with a dull knife than a sharp knife. You know
That's
what I
what
mean?
they say. That's what they say. And you got to get those Ronco knives.
Oh, that's right.
You got to get the ones with the where they cut the tomato soup can in half and then they cut the tomato.
Oh, love that.
wow.
Sliced tomatoes so thin your mother-in-law will never come over again or something.
Can we hit upon what is happening when they get into the fight? Or is that covered here? Right? 'Cause
we
they're like-
mentioned it
they're
briefly
at
that
the-
there was
they're
an-
at the
there-
secret meeting.
Yeah, and that somebody was outed as having done something and they were going to turn her over to Visser 3.
Right. And so they kind of saw this moment where they were like, oh, this Yerk is betraying. We should get this Yerk, like, blah, blah, blah. And, like, so,
Maybe
like,
we can turn them. Really sort of
Which
sets
is
up
interesting
narrative
given
of
the
book.
circumstance. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. But
Yes,
it's not the little
exactly,
girl, right? It's
No,
not
no,
the little girl.
No, unrelated. And at first, I was thinking it would be.
Yeah, me too.
Like when I read the book the first time. Well, I didn't read the book, but you know what I'm
Right.
saying.
Yeah.
I will say, they say there's a waiting bug fighter that she's being hauled off to. And, like, I understand a deadly battle is happening 30 yards away from the games, but, like, a whole ass spaceship
I know bug fighters aren't that big,
I
but
agree
where
100%.
did they park it in the park?
Yeah,
like,
we've already talked about the lack of cloaking. The lack of cloaking.
It could be
and
that
it's also
bug fighters could be the Prius of spaceships. Very quiet, so dangerous you could hit a child.
I'm just saying, like, how did they think they got the adults drunk enough and no one was going to believe the kids? Like, how did they get this here?
Sure. And it's also like it's really bad for the native birds who nest on the beach for a bug fighter. Like, it's just very ecologically irresponsible, which is probably why Cassie felt motivated to rip out part of that Hork-Bajir. Yeah.
I will say they do hammer the loss of privacy again in this book. And it would when she talks about being yeerked, she brings up the loss of privacy specifically.
Yeah. Chekhov's violation.
And then so we learn Jake is depressed after battle, but we learn Rachel is usually almost giddy after battle, and Marco is usually trying to make jokes, but you can tell the difference between his jokes before and after battle. His after battle jokes are a little more strained, like he's not too happy about what just happened either. She doesn't say that part, but that's what I took it to mean.
Mm-hmm. I just want to take one last note of how good Cassie's opening is. Just the fact that she describes, I think K.A. knew how good this book was. The fact that Cassie says it's going to be strange and beautiful was just such a confident, like, compelling open. Like, what happens to this book? You know?
Yeah.
It was,
This story levels up
and
kind
beautifully
of like
written.
the Hork-Bajir Chronicles.
Yeah, it's really beautifully. It's on par with the writing of the Hork-Bajir Chronicles for sure. It's like that good. And
I think it eclipses it.
Yeah.
I think for me, it eclipses it.
Because I actually think it is as good, and I think it's as profound, but the scope is so small compared to Hork-Bajir Chronicles.
Yeah, it's like reading HBC first, we get the big view, and now we're zooming in for a tight view that's just going to punch just that bit harder, you know?
Yeah.
Shall we see what happens in
Chapter 2?
Oh, fine. Yeah, let's see what happens. Chapter 2. Cassie goes home to her parents. Her dad's watching TV. The TV's on. Her mom's at her desk going over
that's
paperwork.
That's a good sign. We love to see that.
Her dad asks how Cassie got home. It's raining after all. And Cassie lies, saying that Rachel's mom dropped her off at home. At least if she's quitting the Animorphs, she won't have to lie anymore. We didn't really discuss that with Chapter 1, which was kind of the bombshell that Cassie's quitting the Animorphs.
Yeah.
Cassie's dad doesn't press her on her story. He was pretty distracted by a breaking news story on the TV. A leopard escaped from an exotic animal handler and injured a man. They still haven't caught the leopard. Cassie's dad
or the man.
Or the man. He's in the hospital, actually. Cassie's dad calls her mom into the room. Cassie can tell that something's wrong before her parents break the news to her. They've lost funding for the veterinary clinic. The pet food company that had been funding them pulled out, and they haven't found a new source. Things aren't looking good, and so the clinic will likely have to close. Cassie can't believe it. She's already lost the Animorphs tonight. Will Rachel ever speak to her again? When will Jake have time to see her now that they're not going on missions together? Now she has to deal with this looming loss on top of that. Really, it's important for Cassie and Jake to schedule alone time. I think this is actually a good opportunity for them. Cassie's mom tells her daughter that she has something stuck in her teeth. Cassie picks at it with her finger and is horrified to find a piece of Hork-Bajir flesh still there in her mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Gross.
Confirming the piss goes with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That's exactly, or that spider Jake ate back in episode 1, or in book 1, where he was
like
a lizard.
Wad of gum, like a wad of gum, he still hasn't died.
That's true. 7 years, they say, for a spider.
Yeah, there's no way that this is the first time that they bite a lot of things. Cassie goes for the wolf morph almost every time. She's got flesh in her mouth. Or in her belly.
Do you think like she has someone floss for her before she morphs back so that she doesn't have to?
Well, I mean, like when
Tobias picks all the meat out of their teeth for his diet.
Right.
Yeah, that's very cute
and
gross.
I think she's more teeth forward than she's been. You know, like we've been seeing this sort of ramp up since her last book.
That's true.
Of her becoming more and more violent and more over it.
That's true. She almost just fucking offed Fenestra.
Yeah, she almost fenestrated Fenestra.
Yeah, but they are biting the humans, right? They're
you.
biting the human controllers. There's no way they're not.
It seems like the human controllers didn't really engage in that fight. So in that fight, they did say there were human controllers there, but when they went for them, they saw 2 Hork-Bajir coming to escort the human controller away, and they were like, "Oh, easy peasy. We knock out the Hork-Bajir and we grab the woman they're dragging, and we run." But then 5 more Hork-Bajir appeared. But it doesn't seem like they fought the humans at all. The humans don't seem like they were armed. They were not involved in the fight. I guess they probably bite humans if they have to, but they seem to avoid it at all. They avoid describing violence to humans in these books a lot, and they're going to lean into describing potential violence to humans in these books way more than they have in the past.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is a violent book.
Lots of imagined violence, this book.
Eddie, you asked here in our notes, you felt like you'd heard about the pet food company before, and so I did a little annotating. I had to adjust my search because, as it turns out, book 19 is the only instance of all lowercase pet food being used in the entire series. But when I searched cat food, I was able to find book 9, chapter 9.
Nice.
Cassie's dad is saying, "It's okay. Hey, you never asked me how my meeting went with the cat food people this morning.
Nice.
We got some additional funding."
Well, and it's interesting you say that because I remember all the way back in book 1 when Jake morphed into Homer, he could smell.
7.
Yes, chapter 7.
Different brands of food.
Yes.
He said he
but they
could
must
smell
not
different
say-
brands of food.
Maybe he says dog food there. But
He probably says dog, because he's a dog.
Why is that relevant?
Because I searched cat food.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Actually,
You guys
no.
are just-
I don't
you
think he
guys are
does because
doing
I
your
searched
weird-
dog food, and I don't think he says. But if I just
searched
You
pet
guys are
food, I
doing
thought.
your weird hyper competitive.
I searched dog food as well.
Okay.
Cool. I want to talk about the book.
Yeah,
You got
go
a
ahead.
mix of
Sure, talk
canned
about
and
dog
dry
food.
food, Purina, no table scraps, unlike me. Chapter 9 of the invasion.
With this chapter, I really just want to settle on the emotional beat of Jesus fucking Christ, Cassie's having a time. They're shutting down. How many animals are about to get?
Yeah.
She's doing the math in her head. She's like, okay, so all these animals are just gonna die then because we can't feed them.
And she can't bring herself to feel anything. She knows she's supposed to feel away. She feels like her parents are telling her the news in a very safe way because they think she's going to have this big reaction. And she just doesn't.
Right. She snaps. She's already snapped.
Yeah.
She's snappy.
But she doesn't snap in the way that we usually think of when we hear the word snap.
No.
She doesn't fly
Right,
off
not
the
like-
handle. She doesn't.
Not like the leg of a small child falling from a huge height and having to be splinted or
Right.
I'm
More
talking
like
about
more like a
carrying
leaf being removed from a plant to be transported elsewhere.
with a little chrysalis on
Yeah,
it.
something like that.
She snaps. It's her version of snapping Tobias snapped in book 3. Rachel snapped in book 12. We're seeing
Did
her
snap.
crisis and
Yeah, no more why I fights. It's why I snap.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like what the final
True.
straw
It's kind of true. Jake snapped in book 16.
when he died as a fly.
When he died as a fly, yeah. But Cassie, what disturbs Cassie is that she's not feeling anything. And the thing is, we know, and we will basically get this confirmed, that this is happening to all of our Animorphs.
Right.
In some way and to some
Our
extent.
animals.
yeah.
Hold on. Yeah, you got to be careful there because you did just refer
that happened
the
to all of
entire
our
subreddit.
Animorphs.
All
Long time
over the subreddit r/Animorphs, they can't feel. That's
They
what
feel nothing.
all I've been able to determine based on their hatred of astrology is that they can't feel.
Yeah,
I'll-
emojis? What the hell?
I'll pitch us against the fandom any day because I love being an underdog. But honestly, this is the best book.
It's a really
this
good
was
fucking
so
book. I know
good.
we haven't read all of them, but wow, this book.
I haven't even read this book. All right, so chapter 3.
Can we pause for 1 second on chapter 2?
What
Can
do
we
you
just
mean?
talk for a second about it? Cassie quitting? She's quitting the Animorphs. Do we believe her?
She said that in chapter 1. She was like, "This was too much. This was my last mission. I'm done."
Yeah.
And they're like,
So-
"You mean you want to take a few days?" And she's like, "Nope." And she just takes off by herself.
So this is definitely a case where it's you don't want to make any decisions that day.
No, no.
Like, it's like, and she thinks she's made that decision. She just walked off into the thing. But it's like, you know what? It just pays I'm just saying, like, it's like they overreacted to her thing. Like, I think that that's an interesting thing that we'll get into in chapter 3. But they took her leaving and her saying something antithetical to the group very differently than, like, I imagine anyone else in the group. Like, when she said it, they were like, oh my God, you're actually done, in a way that, like, I can't imagine any other character being left alone.
Well, no, and I feel like they
kind of
feel like the group will fall apart without her. Even though she's not the leader, she's sort of the moral and emotional backbone, and especially like the empathetic backbone. Like they all rely on Cassie to understand how they're feeling, and so if she's fucking gone,
yeah. And as we'll see in chapter 3, they kind of don't take her at her word. They're kind of like, okay, but you're not really quitting. But
yeah, that's true. That's
no,
true.
but they do take her at her word. Like, it's like it's like, even though they don't at first, they try and brush it off, but it's like they actually let her quit. That's the thing that's kind of confusing.
Well, I mean, why don't we go find out a little bit more about that in chapter 3?
No, let's keep talking about it here. I mean, I tried to move there. We could have dovetailed this.
Do tell,
we could
Chris.
have dovetailed
Oh,
this
Chris,
smoothly.
Chris, we'll let you
into
take it.
chapter
How about
3.
you take chapter
You could have
3?
just cut in after I read chapter 3
Chris,
so beautifully and said, I just want to circle in and say, hey, she's leaving the Animorphs. It would have been just as appropriate.
You know what? You're
after
quitting
I
the
read
Anidorks. I can tell.
I'm quitting the Anidorks. I'm quitting the Anidorks.
Miranda, let's not take Chris at their word.
I'm just saying.
Let's give them a few days to sleep on it.
Yeah, can we all just please take that segue course that I sent you guys?
Can you believe what they're saying? They're saying they would die. They would rather the whole planet die than they turn into meat.
Yeah.
No.
A person who refuses to take
morality
that
over
segue
here.
course.
I would rather the whole planet die than be on a podcast where somebody can't just make up a segue next chapter to say whatever they want to say.
Now, here's how you do it, Chris. You say chapter 3.
Chapter 4. Skipping ahead. Chapter 3. After the conversation, I'm quitting the Animorphs. After the conversation with her parents, Cassie has trouble falling asleep without the Animorphs, without her friends, without the clinic, and the animals that she has always cared for. Who is Cassie? They're not dead yet. Jesus Christ. That was a joke. She recalls the Hork-Bajir she killed earlier and wonders when exactly she heard Jake call them off. Could she have stopped herself from finishing off the Hork-Bajir? You and your suggestive language. Was it really the wolf instincts, or is Cassie just getting better at killing without thinking about it, feeling anything? She has a nightmare about the moment in Megamorphs 2 when, as a T-Rex, she killed a Triceratops in a fury. Cassie narrates, I felt within me all the violence of nature, all the ruthlessness of the survival of the fittest, all the power of muscle and bone, and claw and tooth, all the ageless, never-ending lust for conquest wrapped into one awesome roar. Cassie wakes up and goes to the bathroom, where she brushes her tooth until her gums bleed.
It's pretty awful.
Yeah. Then she goes to the window, where she sees, just for a moment, what seems to be a pair of human little lights, known as eyes, watching her from the poorly lit, ocean non-compliant barn.
Okay.
Maybe that's why the clinic's getting shut down.
Now,
The pet food company pulled out because OSHA found several compliance flaws.
Yeah. Isn't this what the dentist says, that you know your teeth are clean when they begin to bleed?
Yeah, you know you've brushed good enough when there's a little pink in the sink. No, they don't say that.
When the cleansing blood flows, is that what they say? Yeah.
No, that's actually pretty bad.
I do want to talk about two things that happen early in the chapter that are just like really brushed over. I want to talk about her saying, what was I going to do? What was I going to be? And I'm like, this feels like such a relatable and real feeling that people at this age have when they have to like drop an extracurricular, or like they don't get cast in the play with everybody else, or like, and like you feel like you're never going to see your friends again, or you moved or something and you feel like you don't know how to define yourself without the external things that you perform, which can, follow into adulthood too. But like at this point in your life, when you're like 13, 14, like they are, every time this happens feels like as high of stakes as Cassie is having it feel right now, where she just literally gave up on saving the world. And I just really appreciate that we're going to get to explore that feeling and that they gave respect to that. And we're like, how can we explore this very real feeling that young teens and tweens have in a way that's still part of an adventure series and things like that. And she mentions that, like, it was never that Hork-Bajir's fault, that he was there, that he was fighting her, that he was doing any of it. It was all the Yeerk inside his head, and he didn't have control over any of it. And I just think that, like, goes really, really nicely with Dak's speech last book about when Aldrea was being like, we have to kill them, they're Yeerks, don't think of them as Hork-Bajir. And he was like, be quiet, Andalite. At the end of the day, my people are going to be the ones lying dead on the ground.
And it's still true.
It's still true. And I feel like that's the feeling that Cassie is having. She's seeing the other races. I mean, she's met free Hork-Bajir now. She knows these things. And she obviously knows free humans. And so, like, the idea of seeing them dead on the ground, she's not sure if that's a price she's willing to pay anymore. And she says he felt all the pain. The Yeerk couldn't block all that out, which I guess she's kind of assuming. But, like, any hope he ever had of maybe escaping is now gone because she chose to kill him.
Yeah.
And that just fits really nicely with the themes of Hork-Bajir Chronicles.
Yeah, and it's also, I like how you brought it back to what, like, kids who are reading this might be thinking or relating it to. But I also just think, in terms of Cassie, the character, when she quit the Animorphs, probably on some level she was thinking, I'm going to go back to my life, which will be what it was before. And then she goes home and finds out it's not. And just how much that sucks for Cassie, the character. And, like, this, she probably felt like she had stable footing to go back. I mean, she did. And then she has that pulled out from under her immediately. Like,
You know, did she, though?
The one thing she thought she had was the clinic. She thought everybody else was gone, but at least she had this.
I'm just saying it wouldn't have lasted long. Like, it would have been, the Dapson Lumber Company has a claim to that land and would have been, you know, I'm just saying, it's like, part of the snapping thing is like it's just like, you can't run from a holistic problem like this. Like, it just doesn't.
You mean just like the precarity of, like, even if she quits the Animorphs, the war is still going on. And,
Oh, certainly, yeah. And she's, like, a liability to that. Like, the fact that, like...
Which, to Cassie's credit,
really...
like, that is probably, if she really quit the Animorphs, that is something she would have... Like, it's kind of what you've been saying, Chris, is like, yes, that night she quit the Animorphs, but a week from now, 2 weeks from now, like a month, would she still have been... Like, it's not really a realistic thing for her. But we don't really have to deal with those circumstances here.
It's true.
Right.
Oh, one small thing I wanted to note that is just a fun thing. She sits on a toilet lid, and there's just two things I want to note about that. One, I learned, I think this year, that you're not supposed to do that. I learned because someone, like, posted a thing that was like, my Airbnb is trying to, like, charge me for breaking their toilet seat because I sat on the lid. And I was like, everybody sits on the lid. And then they sent me the manufacturer's statement that you're not supposed to sit on the lid. And I have almost 3 decades of sitting on the lid, and I didn't know.
Yes. Okay. That's fair. Don't sit on the lid. Now, if there is a really big spider on the ceiling above the toilet, you are allowed to stand on the toilet as a kind of stool to knock
You
the
probably
spider.
shouldn't, but I mean, if you must.
Well,
you must.
Yes, okay, yes, yeah.
It's not
really
so much,
big
it's not a
spider.
question of should in that instance. It's a question of what must you do. And the answer is the whole room's a loss.
Yeah.
All right, you got to write it all off.
And that's where you made the mistake, because you could have died doing, like, if that spider saw you vulnerable on top of that toilet seat, Ed, or your friend.
If he felt your panic hormones. If
then the spider would have leapt straight
could you please
down
say
your throat.
If one,
the spider would have leapt down one's throat.
Yes.
Clawed through
Were
your
one
esophagus
to stand on the
to your heart.
Were one to stand on the
one's
throat.
heart.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Would one put down the toilet seat to sit down on it to avoid the risk of hemorrhoids, which could happen if one just sits on?
Now, for that, what you're going to want to do, what one is going to want to do
Yes.
is you're going to actually, you don't want to stand on the lid. People get this wrong because the thing about the lid is it's at a weird angle and that actually strains your hemorrhoids.
Correct.
So what you want to do is you want
The hemorrhoids to be.
leave it open. No, you want to leave it open and you want to step into the bowl.
Yeah.
Because that is actually the shape of a human foot. It's better ergonomically.
I think actually, ideally, it's crossed forearms across the seat, feet directly 90 degrees in the air.
Okay.
All right, gravity's
Yes.
going to help that bad boy go back in.
Yeah. Or you can poop in the tank and flush it.
Oh, we're
That
pooping?
also works. No.
This has gotten so
right.
disturbing. Okay.
Chapter
we were
4.
Chapter 4.
We're always pooping, Miranda. Okay.
Jake, Rachel, Marco, and Tobias confront Cassie at her barn after school. Cassie hadn't attended that day. Rachel says that everyone needs a break from being an Animorph now and then. Cassie should get her head straight and then come back when she's ready. But Cassie has no intention of returning. It wasn't this
He has no intention of getting her edge.
It wasn't this one battle that was bothering her. Tobias asks, what was it then? Cassie says that she isn't like Tobias. She isn't willing to make the sacrifices he has made. Which offends Rachel, who points out that thousands, millions of people are still enslaved by the Yeerks. Who will save those people if not the Animorphs? Marco ribs Cassie for being Miss Morality and asks if Cassie just wants to spend more time with her animals. She reveals that the clinic is likely going to shut down. Then what is it then? Marco asks. Is she just scared? To which Rachel responds, no, Cassie's as brave as any of them. Having moral qualms about killing doesn't make Cassie a coward. Rachel understands if Cassie felt bad about killing that Hork-Bajir. I didn't feel bad, Cassie says. I heard Jake say to back off. And after he said that, I did it. What disturbs Cassie is that she didn't feel bad. She didn't feel anything. Even when her parents told her that the clinic is closing, Cassie felt nothing. Every day, every battle, Cassie feels less and less. She knows that this is happening to every one of them. Cassie has to fight that. Marco tells Cassie to keep her morals. The rest of them will go risk their lives, saving the world. Rachel tells Cassie that they can no longer be friends. See, Rachel says, you've just said the whole world can drop dead so long as you, Cassie, don't have to end up turning into me. Jake tells Cassie that she cannot morph anymore. Otherwise, she risks endangering the rest of them. Cassie is left all alone in her barn, surrounded by animals that need her. She cannot bring herself to care.
Such a good chapter.
It's a really good chapter. I love that when we get a Cassie book, we seem to get all the character development, tell at once. Usually it's a mixture of show and tell. They show a lot, but they don't explain a lot. And then in Cassie books, because she's so sort of tuned into everybody, they don't show much, but she tells us what she's seeing. You know what I mean? And so we get that, Jake has been changed. There was always something sort of more mature about him, but you can sort of see it in his face that he's tired.
Like those two pictures of Barack Obama, at inauguration day, and then way later, and he's got all the gray hair.
Exactly.
Yes.
And she talks about Rachel, about how outwardly you might not notice the changes because she was always she sort of looks like she always does, and she's always been sort of, really bold and outgoing, but now she says she's actually kind of scared about how reckless and aggressive she is.
Yeah, she's been wrecked by the bold to reckless pipeline.
And she says that this war has given Rachel an outlet for those things that she maybe wouldn't have had before. This has maybe been...
She also could have played field hockey.
That's true.
Yeah. She says it's a gift, actually. She says that the war is a gift to Rachel, which is nuts given the circumstances of the book. And also that they get along as well. They're kind of having two opposite experiences here.
But it is interesting to think that Rachel couldn't express those parts of herself before, and now she's been given an outlet for it. Yeah. And whereas Cassie is being forced to repress the things she wants to express in order to do the same things that Rachel is doing.
Yeah.
But I think that's a bit of projection on Cassie's part, too.
I would agree.
She's just tapped out. She's so tapped out that she assumes somebody, people just have to be built different to be doing the harder things.
She does feel that way
they're
right
doing.
now.
And you have to assume that on Cassie's bad day, there is actually that moral judgment, that moral superiority that comes up for her with Rachel because she thinks that the war has been a gift to Rachel.
Sure.
And Rachel senses that on the bad day and believes it's there every day, probably.
Yeah.
You know, like that kind of complexity.
But that's the mistake that Jake made here. I mean, I really do mean this. This was not a good thing to hash out first in a group call.
No.
Like,
he needed to go to her and talk.
She needed space to not be as strong as everyone needed her to be, and instead he threw her into the deep end of like people really relying on her.
Yeah.
And like, that's not fair.
Yeah. But that's why your company's not as successful as mine, Chris, because I know an all-hands call solves everything, and we don't end the call until the problem's solved, so...
Oh, boy.
A strong circle. A strong circle.
I wanna ask so many questions about your recent work experience. I don't want to do that on air.
So she frames Tobias's actions as a sacrifice, which I think most people would sort of agree.
I would have called it a sacrifice.
I think most people would agree that it was, but Rachel immediately like chimes in and like pushes over this, getting angry and says that it's not a sacrifice at all because they have actually a chance here. This is like a positive that they have this chance to save the world, and that anything they have to give away for that shouldn't even be looked at as a sacrifice because the new opportunity is actually so big that like she says, we have the chance to save the planet. How can you talk about sacrifices? There are thousands, maybe millions of people enslaved by Yeerks. Who's going to save them if not us? She's like, what is a sacrifice? We're not sacrificing anything. They're sacrificing their whole lives. This is an opportunity to save those people who are making the real sacrifices. And I think that's an interesting and dangerous framing of it.
Yeah, that's not my favorite take, but
I think it's a very Rachel take.
It's a very
and I love that Cassie is just refusing to rise to any of the bait. It's like, who's going to save them? I don't know. Oh, are you just selfish coward? Maybe. Yeah, I guess I'm a selfish coward. Like, she's just totally not responding to any of it.
She is, as my therapist would say, exploring it with an air of curiosity rather than shame and judgment.
Oh, see, I would say that she's doing what's known in the biz as gray rocking. When a narcissist comes at you with all these things and you just don't respond and you like repeat true statements back to it's like that would make you like selfish and a coward. If that makes me selfish and a coward, I suppose I am selfish and a coward. Like, you know, you don't give them anything at all. And she's really just
everyone's always doing that to me in arguments. And I don't understand. No, I'm just kidding. It's such a shitty argument.
Yeah, and like
all my friends are just selfish and a coward. Chris, you get it right. You selfish coward, you.
But I also love the numbness.
Yes, Eddie, I get it.
The numbness is a trauma response that we see here. Like, that's a very real. Like, when your normal has been reset, you don't react to normal things the way you would have before. And that's what she's seeing. And the wildlife clinic is like a very sort of mundane example of that, where she's like, normally I would have been very upset by this, but my stakes and my level of tension is so high now that I'm not even upset. I don't feel anything. But she's now gotten to the point where she's not feeling anything killing a living creature. And she's like, that is not a road I want to go down.
It's not really important, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I think Cassie should be disturbed by that. They should all be disturbed by that. And I also don't know, when you're in a war like they are, if you really have the luxury of exploring that. Yeah. So I think, I mean, it is like, I understand both sides, but I also think, Chris, I think this still goes back to what you're saying. They don't even seem to have a pressing mission today. So Cassie could take the day off. Cassie didn't go to school, and probably as a team, they should have gone, you know what, maybe we let Cassie just have her alone time today. But they don't do that.
Agree.
But I also feel like, in terms of like the kind of like messy emotional argument, I feel like I don't really understand I feel like Rachel has a real bone to pick with Cassie here, and I feel like it's something like that.
Yep.
That judgment is there for both Rachel and Marco, but Rachel is actually more prepared to have a real conversation here than Marco is, which Marco just kind of has the bitterness, and I don't even know if he's really identified what he's upset about.
Because Marco is saying he's upset because they all pushed him when this all started for not wanting to be involved. And he's like, you're the one who's always like, is this morally right? And I feel like in that he's sort of, there's sort of built into it, though he doesn't specifically say it. He's like, you used morality as a reason we should do this, and now you're not doing it.
Yeah.
So what do you, like, you know, what do you stand for actually?
Yeah. And he also is like, why does Cassie, I think on some level he's also asking, why does Cassie get to quit and I can't or don't?
But it's also like, it's so frustrating because it's just like, I just would like what you said. They just should have given her a day. Like, it's like everybody has these days, even if you're pushing through them. And like, I got mad at this one.
Give it a phone call. Be like, hey, do you want to talk? She says no.
There was something I wanted to say too, where like, she is certain she's not feeling something, and I felt nothing. And like, I don't mean to doubt her, like, self-reported experience. But I mean, I just, like, read it differently than you read it, Miranda, which doesn't mean I'm right. I just, like, am exploring that difference. Because it's, like, I guess my way of relating to this experience, and that's not exactly important, is just, like, when something is unfathomable, that's what it means. It just doesn't fit into, like, how do you feel about something that can't be happening?
I understand what you're saying. And I think there are layers of that happening. And especially we're happening early book. But now she seems to be saying she didn't respond to something that was, and maybe it's because it's unfathomable. Maybe it's because she can't think about it. That's that numbness is a trauma response.
Right,
you know, you can't think about it. But she is now feeling something about the lack of feeling.
Yeah, which is a good thing.
Mm-hmm. She is responding and going, oh, that's not good. I don't like that. That makes me feel gross.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is the vibe I get.
All I mean when I say that's a good thing is that it's actually, again, it's something we already said. She's being curious.
The beginning step.
And she's also paying attention to what's going on inside her.
True.
Exactly.
True.
We're not surprised by with Cassie. And I also feel like sometimes when I felt like I'm not feeling anything, if I do just give it a few days, a week, some time, I realize the feeling shows up. It goes to the surface of the pond and I can look at it, you know, like.
But we are much older.
Yeah.
You know, we've had a lot more life experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm at least 2.5 Cassies in age.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is that true?
Yeah.
Probably.
How old are they?
Like between 12 and 14.
Oh, okay. So yeah, depending on,
I have two questions. Miranda, you brought this up briefly. What is the sacrifice that Cassie's identifying that Tobias has made? Is it him being willing to eat prey in order to survive? Is it that the Ellimist gave him the ability to just become a normal kid? And Cassie doesn't actually have that option?
She seemed to be working through that in real time.
I agree.
Though. Like,
if I had to say, I think it's two things, possibly a mix of those two things. One, the initial commitment to stay in the Hawk morph, which he probably would have been yerked if he hadn't done that. So, like, you know, you can say but he did sacrifice something to the cause. You know what I mean? He sacrificed his body to the cause. And now I think, yes, it is, she views his choice to not simply become a Nothlit human as a sacrifice because he could just be living a normal life, but he wants to stay in the war.
Yeah.
This is where, like, I got really mad at that point, and I wrote a note where I was like, it's actually worth pointing out that the Ellimist's offer was, like, partly a trap as well. Like, it's like, yes, you have more identity as a bird and a boy, but it's like, also that is directly tied to you fighting in this war, which just does not feel like an actual offer.
Yeah. And she also says she's not sure. She's like, I'm not sure if fighting is the only reason he's not going back to being a human. There might be more reasons to that, and I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
She's super emo in this book. She's
pretty
getting
upset.
her 9 inch. She's getting her naughty is nice.
Yeah.
What was it? It
for
was
sure.
Naughty is, yeah.
My other
her
question,
9 Inch Nails cred here.
what does we get Jake has a ghost of a smile. And I want to know, is that a development of the slow smile? Is that a different way of reading the slow smile? Is this, an evolution of the slow smile? What do we think?
I don't know. That's a good question.
It's a smirk, I think. I think it's just...
With dead eyes?
It's just like a face. Yeah, it's like not moving enough to confirm a smile. It's like, but she knows that he's amused.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, that's my guess. Should we see if he does it in chapter 5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chapter 5. Cassie starts to fall behind on her chores. We find her doing various tasks around the clinic one afternoon, realizing how small her life has become without the ability to morph, without the freedom to run as a horse or fly as a bird. As much as she does find herself not caring about much, she does admit that she misses morphing. Then, out in the woods, just beyond the fence of Cassie's farm, she sees a little girl with red hair being chased by a mother bear and her cub. The little girl climbs a tree to escape the mother bear, but the bear is going to quickly reach the girl. Cassie climbs onto a horse, her favorite horse, and rushes to save the girl. Her horse panics and charges towards the bear. Cassie manages to pull the girl onto her horse with her, but she loses the reins. One foot slips out of the stirrup. Cassie and the girl manage to escape the bear running into the woods, but they are riding blindly through the forest without control of the horse. They reach a rushing river, and a low branch sends Cassie flying through the air into white water.
Cassie's really cool in this chapter. She takes her favorite mare down to check the watering trough for some of the horses, and she finds out that Axe has been cleaning it for her, which I think is really sweet.
Yeah.
I think we saw hints of this like Cassie Axe friendship back when he like came over for dinner as Jake and like he came running on her farm and stuff. And I wish we got more on-screen stuff, but I do like that we're getting these little hints of it throughout.
Especially because Axe didn't get to show up in the last chapter. He sits out that argument, that confrontation with Cassie. And I love that we get to still have his presence in a way, that he's like taking care of Cassie in this way.
Other than that, this is all an action chapter, except that like she thought she saw human eyes in the woods and now she's seeing a human. So there's that.
Right. And what the hell was this redheaded little girl doing with that bear? Is this an I'm gonna pet that dog?
Oh,
situation?
can I pet that dog?
Yeah.
Can I pet that dog?
And then, it's this whole sequence was ridiculous. The river was too big, the water too fast. It was, Is that this chapter or the next chapter?
By the time she hit the water, she wasn't feeling anything at all. And not in the way she was describing last chapter. She was unconscious.
She was dead.
Yeah.
She dead. Not dead yet. She will be.
I mean, should we like
let's barrel on through chapter 6.
Birds of a feather. Let's do it. Yeah. All right. Hey, you know what? I'll read this one. Sit down, you guys. I got this. Cassie continues to be carried away by the violent pull of the river. She goes over a waterfall, whee, and then is knocked unconscious. Boo. The little girl with the red hair manages to save Cassie, pulling her ashore. But when Cassie wakes up, the little girl doesn't want to make a big deal out of it. Cassie saved her from the bear. The little girl saved Cassie from the river. As far as she's concerned, they don't know each other or anything. Cassie notes how strange it is to hear a child say something like that. The little girl tells Cassie that her name is Karen, a bizarre name for a little girl to have.
But in the 2020s, it's going to really make sense.
The Karens had to come from somewhere, yeah. She keeps insisting that Cassie take her to the manager of the woods. They realize that they're quite deep in the woods, far from any trailers or signs of life. Cassie asks the girl what she was doing in the woods to begin with, asking if Karen was the one Cassie saw watching her during the night. When the girl is silent, Cassie begins to feel dread. Cassie asks Karen why she is following her, spying on her. Karen stares at Cassie as if she is a specimen. You interest me, which is a callback to... It's a very Yerkish thing to say.
True.
Karen says, see, Karen continues, if I'm right about you, then you can fly away from this place anytime you want. If I'm right about you, you can also, let's just say, make a few changes and kill me. Cassie asks Karen what on earth she is talking about. Oh, nothing on earth, Karen says. After all, humans can't morph. Only Andalites can. And so only an Andalite could become a wolf and rip the throat out of Karen's brother's hose body, leaving him to die.
Damn. Her brother.
So this is the stupidest fucking yerk I think I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, literally is like, well, if I get her to admit it right now, I'll just shoot her. And it's like she, like,
No,
it's
no,
just
no.
like,
She has a bit more of a plan than that. That will be revealed later. She's
Right,
not planning
but,
to
like,
just kill her now.
Still, it doesn't make it. You're right. She's gonna stun her with the dragon.
No, the
beam.
plan
But
has totally fallen apart because she broke her fucking ankle.
No, but still a weird open. The plan has fallen apart because she showed her hand in the middle of the game.
She wasn't planning to get chased by a bear and trapped in the woods with her, to be fair. That was never
planning to
the
get
idea.
chased by a bear, but it's what happened.
She saw a cute bear cub, which didn't look threatening, and she tried to go up and pet the bear cub, and then Mama Bear came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And she only
We've all
has the
been
access.
there.
She only has access to information that Karen's brain has, and Karen, you know, like she's not the most.
she's a little dumb.
She's a little young. She's a little young, a little immature. One thing I want to note:
with the dumb eyes.
Cassie falls unconscious. I do want to be clear. She sucks in a full 2 lungs of water, and Karen revives her.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't expect a 6-year-old to know how to do, but I guess maybe. I don't know. That one seems a little weird.
Take CPR training, I think. I think it's
Oh,
mandatory.
okay.
They have the Red Cross come. They have
That
the
checks
dummies.
out.
Yeah.
The year cross.
Yeah.
Hold on, where is the thing? Hold on, there's a very 90s thing in here that's just too silly.
Did you ever read Hatchet by Gary Paulson?
That was a very 90s thing.
I've never
but
read
no,
Hatchet
what-
by Gary Paulson, so I don't know how
Neither
that
have
I
I
had.
don't
I
know
was
the fucking-
afraid of
hold
heart
on.
attacks for a long time after that.
You're still afraid
I'm
of heart
still
attacks.
afraid of
Everybody's
heart
afraid of heart attacks.
Yeah, Chris.
No, I'm not. I'm
Grow
not
up.
afraid.
Oh, is it that she's wearing a
Grow up.
jean jacket? She's wearing jeans,
No,
a t-shirt, and a
isn't
jean jacket.
Isn't there a reference to how she was saved? That stupid 90s? I'm looking through the book right now. It's like my lungs still wet from the river.
Okay, Chris,
was
while you're
bedraggled.
doing that, can I just say,
Yeah.
now,
Go ahead
it
and
sounds
change
like
the
Miranda
subject. Use the
disagrees
segue
about
this
this, but I feel like getting swept away in a rushing river was overrepresented in 90s child cinema. I feel like Great Panda Adventure, I think it happens. Homeward Bound, it happens.
It's a real concern.
And I feel
man.
like
people die
if
that
you
way.
went near any rivers,
Jeff
Eddie,
Buckley
it would
died
be
that
a
way.
I've
real,
gone
it would be a
whitewater
real
rafting
worry.
and it didn't happen to me. You know, I just felt like
You
it was
didn't
always
fall out of the
happening.
boat, but it was a risk.
Yeah. I just felt like it happened a lot more in the 90s. Now, great.
Oh, here it is. Here
Okay.
it is. No. So just to dovetail on that, similarly in the 90s, every 90s sitcom was obsessed with mouth-to-mouth resuscitation
true.
as a joke. And that is said to have happened here, which is just very
Sort
nice.
of implied, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't feel the arms that hauled me up out of the water. I didn't feel the mouth that breathed air into
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
She could have had a mask. She could have, it could have been in her pocket.
It could have been.
Or Draken beam. You
look,
put a Draken beam between.
Look, I'm only bringing this up because of how 90s it
It's
is.
very
I wanna
90s.
make
I
that
mean,
100% clear. Like,
we had
how
mouth-to-mouth from
how
Arnold
many Boy Meets
Schwarzenegger
World-
earlier.
Oh, what was
No,
that?
books ago.
Yes,
books ago.
exactly, yes. And like Boy Meets World, I feel like
Yep.
hit it. I feel like Roseanne had it.
Probably.
I feel like if there was an annotator for 90s
There was a lot of, I
Full
think,
House,
was there one
I'm
in
sure
Ferris
brought it up.
Bueller? I don't know. A lot of them, it was like, I want the hot lifeguard to do mouth to mouth on me. And I was like, I'd like you to not drown.
Right. They made a whole show out of it called Mouth to
It is-
Mouth with David
I don't think they
Hasselhoff.
realize that. Isn't it true that the rib cage often gets crushed during CPR?
Yes, but
the
I
way
would
you do
assume
it.
that a child is not able to do.
I'm just saying it makes
provide
the
that much
kissing more
force.
fun. So
It's also, well, it's not kissing.
no, it's a life restoring
Red Cross-
smooch. That's what I.
Red Cross standard for taking someone out of the water is to do 2 rescue breaths first, because there's a chance if
You
you
gotta
force
clear it.
if you
You
force
gotta
air
clear
into
that.
their lungs, it will just force it back the water out.
Right.
So like, yes, the compressions
right.
are important, but if you can get enough air in those lungs, you can force the water out. So what we learned is she probably played like the flute or something
Yeah.
to have that lung capacity.
Miranda, at the end of this chapter where you're like, oh God, we're going to have to kill this little girl.
Yeah.
That was exactly the thought.
That was
ran through
my
my
exact
head.
thought. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh
yeah.
no, we have to kill a child.
Ah,
This is the
shit.
book where we finally kill a
Not
child.
again. Yeah. Like,
But this is the book where it's okay to kill a child. Is that what?
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
Find out next time on
Anidorks.
I was gonna like say a different podcast.
Go ahead. No, I'm
and
sorry.
nothing
Take
came-
it again. Take it again.
No. Nothing came to me except the worst podcast that was ever created.
Anidorks?
Call Her Daddy.
I was just like, and I was like, that's not right. I'm not gonna say that. We're not even gonna. You're gonna bleep that out.
What's a show that says find out next time on The Adventures of
Find out
Superman?
next time on
I don't know.
Car Talk.
The Adventures.
And remember,
Yu-Gi-Oh!
don't trust my brother.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Thanks for listening to Anidorks. We'll be back soon with lots more to say. Until the Andalites return, or at least until next time. See you soon.